Hi, so for my second rotation, I was located at the healthcare resort, and it's a inpatient rehab center in Topeka. And for my in-service project, I decided to go over the documentation there because this was a struggle for me starting field work and just going from like a completely different way of documenting with my last rotation versus this. It really kind of like took a while for me to get used to. And I think if I had a documentation guide, this would have really helped me and probably have quickened the process of me learning this. And so pretty much I just created this guide for future students who do their field work at the healthcare resort, and if they need, if they have any questions over the documenting there, their CI can just give them this documenting guide. And this will be specifically for the healthcare resort, and they can put any new information they have over their net health system, and pretty much just like things to add versus what not to add. Okay, so when you first open up my guide, the first page is just skilled language for documentation, and it just goes over like different words that you can add to your note to make your note sound more skilled. This would have been really helpful for me because while I was documenting, there were multiple times when it just didn't sound skilled enough. Like, all the correct information was on there, they just needed it to sound a little bit more skilled. So this would have been really nice for me to look at, just to like add words to create a more skilled note. Next, these are just like basic information like co-treatment examples, how to document that, or how to log units for minutes, which also is really helpful because the healthcare resort is very different from my last rotation, which was PK therapy, and so we didn't really have to log the minutes like this. So this would have been really nice for me to look at, and I know this would be helpful for future students as well to look at this whenever they're getting used to that whole system. Then I also have a page with like pretty much describing what documentation is and why it's so important here, and then kind of step by step how to write your note. I also have some just common abbreviations that are used there, just really anywhere. This is just good to like look at sometimes when you're trying to think of like an abbreviation. So I just had the common ones on here. And then I also added a page with sentence starters in the correct order for how to create a note. So my presentation in front of the therapy staff at Healthcare Resort was pretty casual. I stood up in front of them after a meeting that they had, and I just briefly went over the guide and like how they could use it in the future if they ever need to, or if they ever become future fieldwork educators, they could give it to their students, and so that way they don't have to explain everything to them like at the beginning. They can just first give them the guide, and if they have any additional questions, they can always ask their CI. I also wanted to add real quick that I created a Word document with all the information with this guide, and I gave it to my CI, so that way they can always add things to it, they can take things out of it, because I know throughout time things are going to change with their documenting system. So this will be very helpful for just like updates, even if they're like for the employees that have been working there for a long time. They could always go to this if something has changed and they need a refresher or need to look back at it. So I hope this is helpful. I know this would have been really helpful for me. So yeah, I hope the healthcare resort uses this one day. So that's my presentation.